On the same steps where civil rights activist Martin Luther King delivered "I Have a Dream," the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. featured a wall of US National Guard troops on Tuesday. The soldiers stood in rows on the steps, some wearing military police vests, barricading one of the nation's most iconic monuments. A group of protesters had marched towards the monument, calling for justice after the death of black man George Floyd and other victims of police brutality. Before they sat in silence. Tens of thousands of people defied curfews to take to the streets of US cities for the 8th night of protests. In LA, demonstrators who stayed out after the city's curfew were arrested, but by late evening, conditions were quiet. Late Tuesday, clashes also ensued between protesters and police in Portland, and police fired tear gas and stun grenades to disperse the crowd. In New York City, thousands of chanting protesters marched towards the Brooklyn Bridge, but halted at Manhattan Bridge, chanting at police.
What do we want?
Rallies on behalf of Floyd and other victims of police brutality have been largely peaceful during the day, but after dark, some crowds had turned to rioting, vandalism, arson and looting. US President Donald Trump has threatened to use the military to battle the violence, and he has mocked local authorities, including state governors, for their response to the protests. The head of the US National Guard said on Tuesday 18,000 Guard members were assisting local law enforcement in 29 states. Trump's rhetoric and the growing role of the US Armed Forces has alarmed some current and former officials.